Now, for segment addition postulate, the idea of segment addition postulate, as we break down the words segment is a section of a line. So something that looks like this, that's a segment. Addition means adding, and postulate is basically the rule. Segment addition postulate says if we have two small segments, let's say one segment here, this one that we see in red, let's say this one was the measurement was 5, right? 5 inches, 5 centimeters, whatever it is that however it is that we're measuring. And let's say I have another one. I'm gonna draw it right now in blue. Let's say that one was 3. This rule says if I have two segments and I put them together, they make a bigger segment. So one of them is 5, the other one is 3. Put them together, I'm gonna say combined, this whole thing from beginning to end is going to be 8. As a matter of fact, we're going to show it like this. That's what this thing says. It sounds very, very simple. Two segments put together make a bigger segment. We add the two small segments to come out with the big one. Now, another thing that we can use this is, let's say I had another segment. Let's say this thing right here was, let's say 12. And then I had a segment that was, let's say 8. We can find out what's this other segment in blue, right? When I'm putting two segments together to make a bigger one, I add the two small segments. When I'm trying to find the small value or find the value of one of my small segments, in this case, I'm going to subtract my values. 12 minus 8 is 4. So I'm going to say this happens to be 4. The idea of this is if you put two small segments together to make a big one, add the values. If you're finding the value of a small segment, subtract the values. May sound very simple, but it can be challenging at times. So looking at number 15, I see two segments. I'm going to highlight them, one of them in yellow, and then the other one, let me highlight this in green. So you can see there's two small segments. If I add those two small segments, I'm going to have 2x plus 19. Let me do my work in black. So 2x plus 19 plus 6, right? I'm adding everything. I'm going to let this equal to the big segment. And what I mean with big segment, let me highlight this in blue, this whole thing. Now this whole segment is x plus 17. So notice I added the two small segments and equals the big segment. Now the rest is just algebra. The instruction says solve for x. So what I'm asking is what's the value of x that will make this statement true? What I'm going to do is let me separate my sides through the equal sign. Let me combine my like terms on the left. So I'm looking at any term that has a letter. In this case, just 2x. So I'm gonna write 2x. But then I see a 19 plus 6. I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna combine that. I know 19 plus 6 is 25. So let me write this as plus 25 equals. On the right side, nothing can be combined. So I'm just gonna call this x plus 17. Now I wanna still combine terms, but in order for me to combine them, I have to have them on the same side of the equal sign. Notice that's why I did a little line segment going up and down through the equal sign, because I wanted to separate the sides. I wanted to be able to see the two sides. So looking at the x's, I wish I could have them on the same side, and I will. I'm gonna move this one x to this other side. The only thing is that whenever you move something from one side to the other side, you're gonna switch the sign. So it was positive x on the right. I'm going to call it negative x on the left. And then this positive 25 on the left, I'm going to call it negative 25 on the right. In reality, what I want to do is I'm going to move the letters to one side and then just the numbers with no letters on the other side. That's really what I want to do, to be able to combine like terms. On the left, I see 2x minus 1x. I know 2 minus 1 is 1. So 2x minus 1x is 1x. I'm just going to write x. On the right side, I see 17 minus 25. 17 minus 25 is a negative 8. So I have that x is equal to negative 8. That's it. Remember how I was asking at the beginning, give me the value of x that makes this statement true? In this case, negative 8. You don't have to type in x equals. You just have to type in negative 8. Okay, that was not bad. Now, one thing before I move on to question number 16. One thing. We finished with x equals negative 8. X was by itself. If x was not by itself, there was a number in front of it. Technically, there is a 1, but if there was another number in front of it, I will divide by that number. We're going to see it in number 16 right now. Okay, here. What are my two small segments? Let's see. One segment is 2x plus 22. Another small segment is x plus 17. And the big segment is 12. So the way I'm going to do this, notice how I color coded them so it's easier for us to see. I'm just going to go 2x plus 22 plus x plus 17. Notice I'm adding everything from the small sections is equal to 12. Because that's the big segment. And remember how I separate my sides through the equal sign. That's actually what's going to help me. On the left side, let me combine like terms. So I see 2x plus 1x. I know 2 plus 1 is 3, so I'm going to call this 3x. And then I also see a 22 plus 17. I know 22 plus 17 is 39, so let me call this plus 39, and this is equal to 12. On the right side, there's nothing I can combine. I will still want to combine like terms. So everything that has an X, I'm going to move it to one side. Usually it's the left side, but not always. Just move everything to one side, and everything that does not have a letter, move it to the other side. So this plus 39, let me move it over as a minus 39. Don't forget to switch the signs. So on the left side, I have 3x. This is equal to 12 minus 39 is equal to negative 27. You don't have the x by itself. There's a 3 in front of it. So let me divide by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So basically, I'm getting a 1 in front of x. So 1x is equal to, I know negative divided by positive is negative. 27 divided by 3 is 9. So my answer in this case is going to be negative 9. Not all of my answers are going to be negative. But notice how we did 15 and 16. We combine two small segments, we add them, and it's equal to a bigger segment. Same idea we're going to do for number 17. Now 17, there's three small segments. I see one of them is 9. I'm going to highlight them in different colors. I see another one is green. There's another segment. And let me say this other one right here is 1. Combined, they make a bigger segment. Again, I'm color coding them so it's easier for us to see. There's 3 segments that combine make a big segment. So I'm going to combine the first 3, the 3 small segments. 9 plus 2x minus 13 plus 1. And this is going to be equal to 5 plus x. Let me separate my sides to the equal sign. Let me combine my like terms. When it comes to letters, I only see a positive 2x. When it comes to numbers, I see 9 minus 13 plus 1. Now 9 minus 13 plus 1 happens to be negative 3. So let me write this as a minus 3 or negative 3. On the right side, let me write this as x plus 5. 5 plus x plus 5 is the same thing, but I tend to write letters first and then numbers. Remember when I combine letters, so let me move this x to the left, minus x, and this minus 3, let me move it to the right as a plus 3. Don't forget that when we move things from one side to the other, we switch the sign. So on the left, I have 2x minus 1x. So that gives me 1x. I'm just going to write x. Here on the right side, I have 5 plus 3. Right, positive 5 plus 3, that's 8. X is equal to 8. Good. My answer is 8. Now, let's take a look at number 18. There's a bunch of segments here. Now, let me highlight in yellow, or actually, let me go in blue to do a big segment. This one, I don't know all of the information from that side. I just know the distance from K to L is 10, but I don't know anything about L to M, and I don't know anything about J through K. So let me not do that. Instead, what I'm looking at this 13. This is a segment. And then I know that segment I can combine this one with this one. Notice I combine two small segments and I come out with a big segment. Okay. The yellow one is 10, right? And the big one is 13. I think we can agree that LM is going to be 3, right? We can agree that. Another thing we can agree is down here. This is 3 right here, right? You guys see that? Okay, good. But you might be like, I still don't know the value of X. I was just trying to combine segments. I was just looking at, can I combine segments to come up with a bigger one? Can I find some information that I don't have? Now here, I see there's a big segment here, and then here there's another big segment. Or better yet, here this bottom one, I see there's two small segments. And they are the same length, right? The two small segments, it is equal to the big segment here. So I'm just going to go 9x plus 3. It is equal to 11x minus 1. Let me separate my sides to the equal sign. And I said, usually the x's, I move them to the left side, usually. In this case, I'm not. I'm going to move the 9x to the right side. So let me move it as a negative 9x. Honestly, the way I work this, when I have x's on both sides, I move the smaller one. That's really what I do. I move the smaller one. 9 is less, it's smaller than 11, so I move the 9. The reason why I do that is to avoid negatives if possible. Okay, now this minus 1, let me move it to the left as a plus 1. So letters on one side, numbers on the other. Looking on the left side, I have 3 plus 1. So I'm going to call that 4. On the right side, 11x minus 9x. I know 11 minus 9 is 2, so I'm going to call this 2x. Again, I was trying to avoid negatives if possible. In front of the x, there's a 2, so let me divide both sides by 2 because that 2 divided by 2 is 1, so it's going to become 1x. On the left side, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 is equal to x. So my answer in this case is 2. Nice. Let's take a look at 4 more questions. Looking at number 19. I'm trying to find some information. Let me highlight what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this segment DE, and I'm just like, oh man, is it possible I can find something? Is it possible for me to figure this out? Can I find some information about DE? Okay, that's a small segment, but I also see this other small segment here. And then those two combine, I see they make this big segment. Okay, remember how I said that when you're trying to find a small segment, you're going to subtract the big segment minus the other small segment. So in this case, let me go x minus 1. That's the big segment minus 1, which is the green segment. So I'm going to call this x minus 2, right? Because -1 and a -1 is -2. Okay. Some of you might be wondering, why in the world do I need that? My idea is get some information that is not there. I might need it. And the reason why I need it in this case, because I'm looking at this segment. I'm going to combine it with this other segment. Combined make this big segment. So see, I'm adding two segments to come out with the big one. So I'm going to go 2x minus 18 plus x minus 2 is equal to 16. As soon as I can find two segments equal a bigger segment, I can just set up my question here and then solve it as algebra. So looking at letters on the left side, 2x plus 1x, that's going to give me 3x. -18 and a -2, that gives me a -20 or -20. And this is equal to 16. So I have 3x minus 20 equals 16. Letters on the left side. I already have the 3x on the left side, so that's good. My -20, let me move it over as a +20. Don't forget to switch the side. So that's going to give me that 3x is equal to 36, right? 16 plus 20 is 36. Let me divide both sides by 3, because then that gives me that 1x is equal to 12. So my answer in this case will be 12. You don't have to type in x equals just the number. Okay, looking at number 20, I see this 26 is a big segment. And I see there's a small segment here. There's another small segment here. And there's another small segment here. The interesting part is that I can combine the three small segments and it's going to equal the big segment. So I'm just going to go 4 plus x plus 18 plus x plus 18 is equal to 26. We separate the sides to the equal side. When it comes to letters, I see 1x plus 1x. So that's going to give me 2x. And then I see 4 plus 18 plus 18. That happens to be 40. And this is equal to 26. Letters on one side, I have 2x on the left. So then this plus 40, let me move it over to the other side as a minus 40. So that gives me that 2x is equal to -14, right? 26 minus 40 is -14. Let me divide by 2. So x is equal to -7. Okay, two more questions. Let's take a look at number 21. I'm looking at this 12. And then I see two smaller segments make that 12. If the big segment is 12 and one of the smaller segment is 4, I think we can agree that this other segment here is 8. When I'm trying to find one of the smaller segments, I subtract the two segments that I have. 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay. Not only we can agree that the distance between H and G is 8, I can say this right here is 8. And then you might be like, why do you need that? Because then I'm looking at this 8 with this 13x minus 1, and that gives me this 20x. I'm just trying to add two segments, combine, make a bigger segment. I want to have information about all the segments that I'm dealing with so I can set up my question here. I'm going to go 8 plus 13x minus 1 is equal to 20x. You separate my sides through the equal sign. Letter-wise, on the left, I just have 13x. Number-wise, I see 8 minus 1. So I'm going to call that positive 7. And this is equal to 20x. All right, I want letters together, right? I want to move the letters, I want to combine the letters. So I'm going to move the smallest x. 13 is smaller than 20. So this positive 13x, let me move it over as a minus 13x. So that gives me that 7 is equal to 7x. Oh, that's not bad. Let me divide both sides by 7. So on the right side, I get 1x. And on the left side, 7 divided by 7 is 1. So x is equal to 1. Lastly, let's take a look at number 22. I see this 24 is a big segment. And there's three smaller segments. One of them is 8. The other one is 2x plus 24. And there's another one that is x plus 19. If I combine the smaller segments, it gives me a bigger segment. So I'm going to go 8 plus 2x plus 24 plus x plus 19. And all of this is equal to 24. Let me separate my sides through the equal sign. Then I get that 2x plus 1x. So I'm going to call that 3x. And then I also have 8 plus 24 plus 19. Use a calculator if you need to. 8 plus 24 plus 19. I'm going to call that 51. And then this is all equal to 24. Letters, I want them on one side. So I have 3x on the left side. Remember, I always say side is of the equal sign. That's why I did my line here. This plus 51, let me move it to the other side as a minus 51. So that gives me that 3x is equal to negative 27. Right? 24 minus 51 is negative 27. Let me divide both sides by 3. So x is equal to negative 9. Not bad.